Yes, this is the Brode and Esther podcast coming right at you on a digital device, most likely, and said, that's what we're doing. Stephen Brody Stevens, no glasses, going fresh with the ice balls today. Eyeballs, not ice balls. Hi, I have ice balls. I have eyeballs. Eyeballs. And we have Esther here. Say hello to Esther.
Hi, I'm Esther.
And then we have the great Redban doing what he does. He understands the microphones. He understands the video. He understands the iTunes. He gets it. And we respect his talent. He's pushing hard with positivity. And I'm excited to be here. We are here in the Valley, at a secret Valley location right now, doing what we do. I'm going to go ahead and say my name is Stephen Brody Stevens. I was born here in the San Fernando Valley. I went to college in Arizona, high school in the Valley, so you backtracked a little bit. Moved up to Seattle, lived in New York, back in L.A. for 11 years, pushing positivity. And when I see good energy and funniness, I bring it into my world, and that's what I did. Here she is. Say hello to Esther.
Hello. I lived in New York for 6 months.
You didn't tell me about that.
No.
Where?
I lived on 85th in Amsterdam in like a student housing.
That is the Upper West Side.
Yes.
You were in student housing?
Yeah.
Were you a student at Columbia?
No, I wasn't in college. I was doing an internship at Playboy
Whoa.
for writing, and I was working with a dance company.
Playboy Dance Company?
No, I was doing a writing internship at Playboy magazine. And
Are you serious?
Yeah. And then in 2007, and then I was an apprentice with a dance company.
I thought that Playboy was out here or in Chicago, not New York.
The New York office is closed, I think, in like 2009.
Right, I heard they sold everything off.
Yeah.
Was it a good experience for you, Esther,
It
being up
was.
there in the Upper East Side? Upper West Side, excuse me.
I loved it. I thought that that's where I would move, actually. But then I somehow ended up in LA.
So you went from Chicago, your hometown, correct?
Yes.
Where in Chicago, do you want to get specific? Like where in Chicago you
Yeah,
went to
I
high
grew
school?
up in a north suburb called Skokie.
Skokie. Isn't there a Skokie Community College?
Oakton. It's called Oakton.
It's in Skokie.
Yes.
I did a show there. It's all, and
No
it's
way.
Yes, I did. It's in their Skokie Boulevard or Skokie
Yeah,
Avenue.
the Skokie Boulevard.
Did a show there. Redban, have you been to Chicago yet?
Yeah, many times. But I've only been to, like, stupid stuff, like the Navy Pier.
What's stupid about the Navy? My father was in the Navy. How dare you? His ashes are out at sea, and I have the VHS tape and the map and the flag and the gun shells.
Then you wouldn't like this then, because this is more like, oh, it's Navy. Oh, there's yogurt.
What's wrong?
There's an IMAX theater.
Oh, there's an IMAX theater. But, I mean, the Navy's not into IMAX movies. That's what I'm saying. It's not.
I think they are. How would you like to see the movie Pearl Harbor on
Oh, I
IMAX?
didn't-
IMAX wasn't available when the movie Pearl Harbor came out, or any of those other movies like Apocalypse Now. How would you like to see that in IMAX?
Hasn't IMAX been around for a while?
I think maybe 10 years.
Yeah, I feel like it started just with documentary. I used to go all the time as a kid, like, and just see like Under the Sea.
Yeah, like at science places. Like only science museums and shit like that had IMAX. But now it's kind of getting into the regular movie theater. So maybe that's what it
Who
is.
did that? Avatar kind of like.
Well, I saw The Dark Knight in IMAX.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the difference of
Midnight.
What is the experience of IMAX? I haven't been to IMAX for years and years.
Well,
and years.
there's fake IMAX. I don't know if you know that or not. Like, there's
No.
original OG IMAX where it's like the whole screen where you walk in
Yeah, the
and
whole
you're just
room.
like, this is ridiculous.
Right.
Now there's like baby IMAXs where they just use the same kind of screen format.
Uh-huh.
So you'll go into a movie theater thinking, wow, this is gonna be IMAX. You're like, this seems kind of small. You know, it's a lot of AMC theaters. I think have been.
So they have the IMAX technology, but not the actual physical
but not
screen
as
size.
big. Not as
And
big.
not all IMAX is 3D.
Yeah.
I haven't done the 3D movies. I haven't
hate
done the
3D
IMAX.
movies.
You hate them? That's a strong word. That word
Sorry.
hate probably would not be in the book.
That's not
called The
positive
Secret.
for
You're
projectionists.
right. I usually get headaches when I see a movie in 3D.
You know what? As a kid, as a child, I was in Las Vegas with my father, and I think we went to one of these IMAX things at Caesar's Palace, something where it was on the ceiling and all around. I remember getting sick and nauseous, and that's probably what has kept me away from going to an IMAX theater. The fact that I got sick, I remember getting my head spinning, and we were just seeing something at Caesar's Palace. You remember these things from your youth, like going to the dentist. I remember I was like 6 or 7 or 8, something like that, and they were giving me the nitric oxide for my cleaning, and I wasn't breathing it in properly, so she kept turning up, and then I breathed it in, and then I got sick and I threw up. And I've always had that since I've had that feeling since a child, like, I'm not doing that nitric oxide in the dentist. You got to, like, give me a shot.
I've never been offered. You're lucky, at least you were offered.
Well, not when you get, like, so
I've never been offered any kind of anything except that stupid needle where they're like, hey, we're just going to put a needle in your gums
Novocaine.
1,000 times.
That doesn't hurt, though. They numb it up.
No, but sometimes they do it right. Sometimes, though, it's just like, all right.
Dude, one time I got a cavity filled without that, and it was the craziest, worst
What?
experience
Why would
ever.
you
There's
do
another
that?
bad word, crazy and worse. I hate when you
Yeah.
say crazy and worse.
We should
off
start having a
today.
bell.
You're not off today. You're on.
Okay.
Here's the deal. That's a negative word, too. The reason why I'm bringing up the dentist is because I went yesterday. I went to the dentist fully expecting to have a cavity because I have some sensitivity. And I don't have any cavities. Thank you. I wear my night guard. God bless you. May God bless you, Esther.
Thank you.
So I went in there and no cavities. I wear my night guard. My gums have been good gums from the proper flossing. People think you can just get any kind of floss, Johnson & Johnson, CVS Rite Aid sponsored floss, but I need this gritty kind of floss. It gets in there. It's like wood. It's like a rope. And I've been doing that, and my gums are good. And you got to floss your gums. You got to floss at least once a day.
I
Floss your
floss.
gums.
How often do you floss,
I
Esther?
floss every night. I sit down because I went to the dentist once and had 3 cavities. And
Oh my gosh,
yeah.
that's a lot of money.
Yeah, it was crazy. And I couldn't get them filled because I can only get them done in Illinois because that's where my dental insurance is. So I had to come back to LA for 6 months and with the cavities and then go back and get them
So
filled.
you had 3 cavities post Playboy,
Yes. This was like this past year.
and you had to fly back to Chicago to get dental work.
Yeah, and then when I went just now, I went to the dentist and I had no cavities. 'cause I
Yeah,
flossed.
high five. No cavities. Brian, do you get cavities? Do you floss? Do you brush?
It's so funny that we talk about this. Tom Segura, I don't know if you know Tom Segura.
Tommy, good friend of mine.
Yeah, Christina have.
She's also a good friend.
They
I
have
like
their own
her.
podcast called Your Mom's House, and they now every episode we have a dental update. So whoever the guest is, we have this like CNN breaking news. It goes, and hey, what's your dental update? And so I've dissected my mouth together apart so many times, but the thing is I fudged up.
Good.
First,
He caught himself. He
Yes.
caught himself. I didn't even have to say anything about
Yeah.
that.
and I like
Fudgical.
fudge.
You could say the F word on other shows. You could say the F word here once in a while, but I just don't think it's a necessary
No, it's not.
word.
I'm trying to clean up my act, Brody. I'm trying to be positive on stage. I was telling him earlier that I had to do like comedy in front of all these 40-year-olds recently. and-
Guys like me,
Yeah.
40.
Well, I mean, like not that kind of 40. I'm talking about like older people with families and
Right.
stuff like that.
Guys who
But-
just gave up.
Yeah.
That's it. I'm going to
Yeah.
get married, get the kids, and
Right.
settle. I
Right.
don't settle. I push. How dare you? My family's from New Mexico, from Michigan, from Seattle. We came hard, and it's not over yet. Go ahead, Brian.
But I said the word. I think it was the fudge word.
Said the fudge word.
Yeah, and immediately people were like, "Oh," like I was like, "Oh no!" So then I was trying to edit myself on stage, trying to like replace words like fudge with freckles and stuff like that, and
Freckles.
then that would be a good
Freckles is a funny word.
Yeah.
But anyways, my dental update is so I didn't do anything for
Filibuster.
7 years. I just could not afford going to a dentist. This is me college years and stuff like that. I could not afford. And then
Something tells me you could have afforded it. It just wasn't your priority.
well,
Yes.
yeah.
Keep
You were
I
in
also-
college.
I
Were you
had-
paying for college, or was it junior college? Was it regular college?
It was community college, and then I moved up. But
Okay.
what happened is that when I was a kid, I had a lot of traumatic dental shit. I was in a car accident, knocked my 2 front teeth out. when
Are
I
you
was, like,
serious?
8 years old. So
That's
there was a lot
traumatic.
of drama as a child. So I didn't go for 7 years. Like F that, I'm not going to do that.
Right.
So I finally went because it started getting sore on one side, and I started like really noticing it pretty bad. Went in there and had like tons of cavities. Like I forget how many, but the one of my one tooth was so cavitized that they had to like pull it out and then put like a titanium rod into my jaw and do all this shit, and it shucks, and it cost me like
can say
7.
It cost you how much?
Like I don't know how much. It was
$700
like thousands. No, it was like
$700,000.
no, $740.
$7,000.
But yeah, so
but guys get dental work. That's $7,000.
Yeah, my
It's
sister
happened.
had to spend $6,000 on her teeth because when she had a baby, she stopped brushing because she only cared about her baby, and big mistake.
You can't not brush.
Yeah.
I try to brush. I have a Sonic Care toothbrush. That's the way to go. Every doctor that I've spoken to, every dentist, Sonic Care toothbrush, the good kind of floss, and wear them out a night guard so you don't grind your teeth. And if you have good teeth health, you have good heart health, and there should be no shame, and you shouldn't be afraid of your dentist. And that's today's dental note, right?
Yeah, yep.
So, a lot of things are going on. Those bad, Brian was talking about it, Redban, having a bad set or a struggling set. Those are the kind of sets, I think, as a comedian that make you better. If you're constantly killing and crushing, doing the same material, or maybe doing new material here and there, and you're constantly crushing, I don't know. I think when you have a bad set or a set that's not, up to your standards, it's going to make you a better comedian if you take that challenge. Okay, they weren't with me. I need to have those jokes prepared.
It makes you work, and it makes you appreciate when it's good.
Yeah, it's like I'll go to the Comedy Store. I'll go to the Laugh Factory. To me, those are the comedy gyms for me. I'm a guy who does one-person shows. I do rock. I'm a rock and roll guy. I'll do rock venues. So when you're doing the Laugh Factory or you're doing the Comedy Store, it's a comedy gym. Those should be the toughest rooms for you, I feel. Me specifically, being that I play, I'll do UCB theater. I'll do, quote-unquote, alternative room. So when I do the Laugh Factory and I do the Comedy Store, or I'll even do the youth hostel, those rooms for me, they're workout rooms. Of course, I try to do well. I'll never not give a show. I'll always give a show to the people. But in my eyes, those are workout rooms. So then when you find your own audience, it's so much better. And how do you feel about that? I see you at the Comedy Store, Esther.
Yeah, I feel similar. I've been treating my Comedy Store spots lately as just like trying out new stuff, and but I'm sort of getting back into a groove now there.
Do you do the Sundays and Mondays, or?
Yeah, I'm there every Sunday, Monday, and then I get like a belly room spot.
So you get basically 3 times.
3 nights a week.
That's good. And what are they? The Sunday Mondays, they're 3-minute spots, right?
Yeah, they're like 3 till 5 to 7.
If you're they'll give you 7 if you're doing well?
Yeah.
I look at it this way. If you're going to do, say, Jay Leno, or you're going to do Conan, or you're going to do one of these talk shows, you're probably only going to do 4.5 minutes.
Right.
So that you could almost say, 4.5 minutes that's a TV spot. You can cram it all in and do it. Do you like the vibe at the Comedy Store? I saw you there the other day. You seemed to be a little upset. I know it's a quote-unquote a boys' club there.
Yeah, I've been having some trouble with being bullied.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I'd like to say it gets better, but it might not.
The last few times I've been in there, I've been being bullied by someone there who hosts from time to time. And the first few times it happened, I just left and, didn't say anything. And then this last time, I sort of lost my marbles. And
I don't think you lost your marbles. That means that's like you went nuts. You might have lost your cool, not your marbles.
I lost my cool, and I stood up for myself a little bit. I sort of wish that I would have just left and let it be, but I was very frustrated and...
With the treatment, the MC...
Yeah.
I saw the MC a couple times, and he was being hard on some of the acts, like, that's not funny, or... better luck next time.
Well, what happened was, it's like I'm fine with people making fun of me, whatever, but this person, he interrupted my actual set because there was a new piano player, and so the piano player just listens to whatever he told him to do.
Right.
And 2 minutes into my set, he had the piano player play music, which I've been at the Comedy Store for 3 years now, and I've been on many other stages. I've never been played off, so it was like, I was in shock when it happened.
But here's the deal.
Upset.
Here's the deal. Maybe it was wrong, unprofessional, or out of line, but again, that moment is going to make you stronger. That's not going to happen to you, say, at an improv or at some B-level alternative room or these supportive rooms. You being a woman, and even being anybody at the Comedy Store, performing, like I said, it's a gym. Sometimes they go overboard. Sometimes these guys are performing only there at that club, and they're so used to that dark, evil mentality, and they feel like, I feel that they have to carry on this tradition of being a tough guy and being mean.
Well,
go ahead, Brian.
I personally love picking on little girls. I mean, like,
Wait, how little? How little? Let's not
Like
get
about her
weird.
size, you know. Like when she's on stage, I'm like, hey. Fuck that little girl. Fudge
Why?
that little girl.
Fudge that little.
I'm going to ruin her
I think you say it the other way.
You know,
You're not.
It's mostly because, you know, why I think that is because I still want her. You know, oh man, I still want her so bad. But no, I'm gonna be like, no. You know, it's like when I was a little kid, I would like stick gum in my girls' hair that I
Why
liked,
would
you know?
do that? Are you serious?
Because that's what you do as a little kid. You know?
I don't know, Brian.
I mean, now, unfortunately, I've grown up out of that, but
You would stick gum in a girl's hair?
yeah, because I was like,
Boys do
damn,
that.
I like that
Little
girl,
kids
and now
do
just
that.
like put gum in her hair and then slap her around a little, and then you know.
If somebody put gum in my hair, I
talk
would.
shucks about her behind her back, you know.
Why did you do that?
Because it was the playground, you know, like the comedy store's like a playground. You know,
Little boys, like, if they like a girl, because I babysit, so I know, like, if they like a girl, they're like, ew, she's so gross, and, like, they go like that.
I just don't think it's healthy. I
not.
never, me personally, I never picked on anybody. I didn't understand.
I was just kidding, by the way. That was all.
Why
He
were
was
you kidding?
mocking.
I was mocking the person who did it to her as if he was a child.
Well, I fell for it. I'm sure listeners here envision you running around Ohio before or after when you lost the teeth, running around, putting gum in the hair. Maybe that was the way I looked at it. You had a rough childhood with the dental stuff,
Right.
and you're putting gum in the hair. That's what I do. Words are thoughts, and thoughts are things.
Yeah.
You know?
But you know what I'm saying? Like, whoever's. I know who it is.
No, I don't
but-
know what
but-
you're saying.
But I know who it is, but the person that's picking on her, it's just like, come on, dude.
No, but it's
Seriously.
like, but
Yeah,
even
leave me alone.
even beyond the specific person that Esther's talking about, there's more than just him doing that thing. It's a vibe there. It's like a badge of honor to be tough, to be dark, and to be whatever. And I talk to the comedians, and I'm not going to say any names, but I always feel that if you're performing at this one place all the time and you're from LA or you've been here for many years, you got to get out of there. You can't always be in there. If you try and have a conversation with quote unquote comedy store comedians, it's I'm not ripping them, but it's like, guys, get out, go to some other clubs, positive energy. I mean, I'm able to rise above the fray a little bit. I'm a big guy. But there were times when they pressed my buttons. Believe me, like 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, whatever it was, I had to go through this kind of like hazing phase. And I didn't take it personally, but it was like, why are you doing that?
Right.
You know, and I'm saying, like, this is only going to make you stronger. You know, you don't want to cry and give yourself stress.
Date the biggest black guy you can find,
No.
and then it will all stop.
No, it's about comedy. No, it isn't, Brian. It's about comedy. Because once Esther starts, she's getting, you know, she's on a successful podcast.
Right.
She's doing, you just booked a TV show, right?
Yeah, just one episode.
So what?
Has it been on yet?
No, it hasn't. I'll let you know.
I mean,
And that
just
show got
one. That's
picked up.
good.
And that show's doing awesome. It's like one of the very few shows that the ratings are kicking ass. And
What show did you book? Whitney?
New girl. No.
Oh, okay.
New girl.
Oh, okay. That's a good show.
It is,
So
I like it.
when you left the Comedy Store, you were upset. I talked to you for a little bit.
Brody
I said,
kind of saved the day because I was like, I had just kind of screamed a little at this guy, and then I didn't know what to do, and I saw Brody, and Brody was like, "What's going on?"
"What's going on? Save it for the podcast.
Yeah.
Give me a couple words now."
so did he do it again after? Because you told me once he did something. Is this the same time, or is it?
No, there's been like 5 occasions
So he's
lately.
still doing it.
It's like every time he's the MC.
Here's the deal. Can I say something? Let's not focus on this one person. This specifically. Let's talk generalities.
Okay.
Because that what you're seeing by the host, Tony. We know Tony. Let's
Yeah.
just be honest. It's something he does to a lot of people, but there's other comedians who have that kind of vibe. If you're there, it happens. So Esther, you perform elsewhere too, correct?
Yes, I do. And to be clear, no one there bullies me except this one person. So.
Right. Yeah, it seems like every time everyone loves you there.
Yeah, it's like I have a great time and I'm in a great mood and everyone's like having fun, and then it's like one person.
When you
And
say
I'm very
bu-
sensitive.
Do you want mace?
Maybe
That'd be
actually.
pretty good.
When you say bully, do you mean it's like threatening? Do you feel physically uncomfortable?
I feel uncomfortable there. I don't feel safe, not in a physical way, but in a way of like, you know, like someone's about to attack me verbally and make me feel not good, which I'm not used to, you know. I'm just not, I don't expect that when I go out to a place that I've been hanging out for 3 years, and, you know, it's like my little home club. Everybody's
Now, has
nice.
any other comics kind of stuck up for you or said anything? Or
Right
done
here,
anything?
Stephen, Brody Stevens. I brought her on this podcast today to let her talk about you need to focus on positive words. And these guys are just young. Don't take it personal. I
Right.
always say that. You can't take it personal. This is, and consider the source. If somebody's being mean to me, I'll do background checks. And if they're, you know,
Oh,
Really? You do that? So you're like the commercial. Like the background check commercial.
That's
where
right.
Like like before she goes on a date, she like checks the person out.
Exactly. You
and then
need to
drives
do
by
that.
their house and looks through the window.
now me, I've got, I mean, I have a trail on Google, you know, that girls are afraid of me right now. I mean, I took it to another level on Twitter. I created sparks, energy, craziness. So if a girl's got, my phone, I'm blacklisted from Hollywood right now. You notice my phone doesn't ring. I'm not going out on dates. I have to prove myself basically for 6 months to a year and show Hollywood and the neighboring communities that I'm okay.
So romantic comedy is what you're thinking?
No, I'm thinking that, no, this is real life, Brian.
No, I mean for Hollywood to accept you back. Do you think like a romantic comedy movie would be?
Well, this is kind of, I mean, not that I'm dating Esther or there's any kind of sparks or energy, but this is a step in that direction.
Yeah.
Big Brody
Yeah.
here with little Esther. It's like she's not uncomfortable. Sure, she's getting thrown around and bullied at the Comedy Store,
Right.
but she's hanging out with me. So
Yeah.
it makes me look good, even though I have this ID bracelet on from UCLA, even though people thought I was going to be violent or suicidal, and I'm not. So this is all a part of my probation period. And I'm not saying that's the only reason I'm doing the show with Esther. Just I put that energy out. I said I'm getting blacklisted from Hollywood. I'm not getting the TMZ stuff. I'm not getting the gigs because I think people are like, let's step back. Let's not put Brody on the spot. He may snap. He may have to cause us to create extra security.
right.
So it's like you have to just like be mature about it.
The comeback is what's happening.
Yeah, but what am I coming back from?
You know, just from being having people blacklist you a little bit. Then you make the comeback. Robert Downey Jr. made a comeback.
Right, but he was already successful. Not saying that I'm successful in my little ways. Like I've done warm up and I've had some stand up on TV here and there. I feel like what bums me out, if I want to focus on it, would be that I wasn't that breadwinner when this all happened. It's not like I owned a home or I owned a car or had a child and a wife and okay.
But the good thing is that before it happened, people kind of knew you and kind of knew you. You know what I
Some
mean?
kinda.
And now with all this, they've been so much. When all this happened, everybody was talking about it.
They
So
were.
Everybody.
I was on lockdown. I was at the UCLA medical ward. I was off the grid, no internet, pay phone calls occasionally, smoke breaks with cutters and pill addictors. And basically, when I went to the hospital, I treated it as a rehab. Like after the first couple of days, I go, this is all right. I'm not smoking pot. I'm not coughing up black stuff. I'm not drinking alcohol. Not that I had a problem with that. I'm sleeping at a good time. And I was eating healthy, apples and bananas. And so what got me through that is the Little League World Series. I watched that a lot. And reading books, magazines. But for the most part, yeah, it was good. I took a situation. I wasn't like, he's like, you got to go with it. I was kind of shocked that I got into a hospital. I mean, not in a million years would I think I'd be one of those guys going to a hospital. I just felt that, and it happened, and I was there, and I kind of just dealt with it. And then when I came back, I'm out. You got to like gain the trust of your friends or people that know you firsthand or secondhand or whatever. I wouldn't say gain their trust, but you got to show them a little bit. And, people do worry. And what upset me the most is having the LAPD involved. I have a great relationship with the Men in Blue. And when they barged into my house and my apartment and threw me down on a chair, I had a blanket. I take a shower, then I dry off with a blanket. And I'm kidding, a towel. And they threw me down. I just couldn't believe it was happening. But I was in a manic state. But I was never ever. I want to go on record now, if I may. I want to go on record. Stephen Brody Stevens, BrodyStevens.com, Facebook, Twitter. I was never ever suicidal or homicidal. I had no desire to physically hurt anybody. When I was on Twitter, tweeting up a storm, I'm a comedian. That's what I was. I was on stage. Twitter was my stage. And I was reacting to texts that not everybody saw. So you'd see a jump in my Twitter, like, oh, that's kind of funny. Whoa, it got scary. Because I was reacting to texts and phone calls. And in this information age, you know, things get blown out of proportion or whatever. But at the end of the day, I only had, at that time, 13,000, 12,000 followers. So in my eyes, and again, I don't do tweet for my followers. I do it for me. It's nice that I have them, I guess. So I was so focused on me, you know, they would see the tweets, oh, what's going on? And they started getting scared. But I was reacting to other people. But not at one time was I violent. Or, I mean, I did kick a guy at the Comedy Store. There's a drunk guy there who was bugging us. It was like 3 in the morning, and I delivered a front kick right to him. Rogan would have been proud because this guy was drunk and bothering people.
Right.
And I just had a few. I don't know if I mentioned this on this podcast before, but I just had a few things I wanted to get off my chest. It was a victory lap. You know,
At least it wasn't a brawl.
No, I mean, but you know what? Guys get into fights. I don't know if Rogan gets into fights. He's a tough guy. Guys probably want to take him on. I don't know. Andrew Dice Clay, he'd throw around, and it's like people were like shocked that I did this. Oh, it's not you, Brody. But most athletes, successful athletes or successful people, they have a little chip on their shoulder, a little bit of something in their back pocket that pushes them. And me, being Jewish, being obsessive, or whatever you want to call it, I had 4 to 5 names of people that weren't cool to me, and I felt I had that window after hosting TMZ, because even though you're at TMZ, it doesn't pay you, but when you're hosting it or you're on it, it's something. People go, I don't watch that stuff. They watch it. They secretly want to be on it or watch it, these actors. So once I did that, I felt like I had an opportunity to say what I wanted to say as a comedian. And then after this bender went, I was gonna go to the desert and relax. I just never had that chance to go to the desert. They sent the cops again. So how does that affect teeth cleaning? I don't know.
Well, the cool thing about the whole thing is that now everyone gets to kind of watch the track back up the hill. You know? So, and I think that's good because now I think you have more eyes watching that track back up the hill. And so the good thing is now all the positive, and you pretty much got to start from a fresh slate of paper, which is kind of cool. You know, like I would love to be able to, you know, start from scratch, you know, and be able to. And just,
why not? Like, what's holding you back?
Well, the Death Squad Podcast Network, my job, you know, everything else. Like I'm holding it together.
Yeah, you are.
You know, as good as I can. It sucks being an adult. You know, that's what it really comes down to. It. Like I should not be like there's a point in your life where just you have to start doing shit. You know, like you have to follow these rules, where before it was just like, fuck that, I'm just going to drink and have fun and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But now it's like I feel like for the first time in my life, I'm actually being an adult. Like I have to be an adult.
So what rules are you talking about?
Just like fucking shit, like make sure I fucking do this.
Overboard,
make sure I do this.
A lot of cursing, a lot of cursing.
F-word, overboard.
Wow,
Yeah.
thank you. You know, like you start thinking about retirement. You start thinking about like, man, I have nothing in my savings.
But everyone's, you know what, Brian, a lot of people are like that. A
Yeah.
lot of people know that you're in the same boat with a lot of people.
Right.
You can't really think about retirement. I mean, maybe have some kind of 401k plan.
Right.
But you have to trust your abilities. You're doing this Death Squad. You are in charge of a lot of podcasts. You've helped out Joe Rogan. You're helping out me. I'm not grouping myself with Rogan, but I'm saying like you've got to feel good about that. And yeah, you're an adult. You got to pay bills. But you can still be who you are.
Yeah. It's you know, sometimes like all the responsibilities and shucks coming at you, all just like finally like you kind of like snap sometimes and go, holy shit, this is shucks, this is a lot of stuff, you know.
We'll take
I
a
feel
vacation
that.
for a week.
I feel that
Yeah.
too. It's hard, like managing like bills and you know all that.
It's
stuff.
called auto pay.
See, I don't like auto pay.
Why? You don't
because
trust it?
my checking account's like a role playing game. Like I have, I got to make sure I deposit this and do this, and I got to pay this. And with auto pay, it's just kind of like, okay, I need money. Hey, whoa, you're just, coming in.
Well, no, I mean, you see on you can go on the internet and look at your statement and go, okay, 200 went to that, 120 went to that, 600 went to that, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, but see, that's not the stuff I'm good at. Like, I'm not.
Why are you not good at that?
I'm not good at financing
You're
money.
so
You can be.
unorganized.
You can be, Brian.
Paycheck to paycheck, you're so unorganized
Yes.
with your money.
But you can be organized. You can be. You can't say I can't be. How hard is it to go on your bank website and check out your debit card
well-
or your checks? And that will give you peace of mind.
It's the same reason I never graduated college, and the only reason why is because I have 3 math classes I didn't want to take.
You need a Jew in your life to.
You need a Jewish. Yeah, go ahead, Esther.
A Jew in your life, like
I've had a Jew in my life, Esther. You, and then you just made everything more hectic.
My parents, my mom doesn't know anything about finances. My dad runs the show. For me, I have my dad's blood, whatever. I know what I'm doing.
He's the Jewish guy.
Yes.
See, there you go.
He's a Jew.
They know finances. And
They're interested in it. I have an interest in. I studied finance in college for a little while. I have an interest in it. It's fun.
I think you can do it. It's something you got to like put your mind to, and it's like, positive energy. Think about that. I feel like I have pressure now. Like I'm getting bigger, more followers. Oh, this positive energy stuff, and I feel like, that can stress you out too. So many stressors. You're right, but you got to exercise, be around healthy people, do what you do. Preparation, like we prepared for this. We talked about what's happening there at the Comedy Store. We talked about teeth cleaning. Esther, I want to give you a chance to like open up your mind. I'm going to pick up a book for a second. I'm going to look at that. I want you to talk to Brian. Maybe think about the audience. I'll be back in just a second. I'm going to
Okay.
take a mental break like I do, and then I'll let you two do what you talk about, and I'll be right back.
Okay, Brian, I just want to say one thing I recently discovered. Limited edition pumpkin pie flavored Pop-Tarts.
What?
Yeah.
Does it taste like pumpkin pie?
They're really good.
I have to try that out.
Yeah,
I love pumpkin pie.
I'll give you some of them. I bought a really big box.
So the iPhone 4S was released today. I actually was at the mall for a few hours, just watching it because that's what I like to do. No, I'm just kidding.
You
I
didn't
was
wait-
there with a friend. I wasn't buying one because I'm in contract.
Who were
or
you there
whatever,
with?
With my girlfriend. And so we're sitting there, and the line was not moving at all. I mean, this was a pretty huge line. And they're like, all our systems have been crashed for the last hour, so we can't even put like orders in or do anything. So she's still there. She's been there since I think like 9 a.m. or
They
something like
open
that,
up the
8 a.m.
mall
Why
early.
is she
Oh, yeah.
there? Why
Yeah.
is she still there?
Because all the systems have crashed, so no one can they can't sell any phones.
But you
because
already
their
got your
systems
phone.
crashed. No, this is actually not this is not my phone, but this is was just delivered right here.
iPhone 4.
iPhone
S.
4S. Pretty much what I got this for was to review it and then send it back. So
Oh, are you allowed to do that? You're in that world where you're
you
getting
can do
stuff sent
anything
to
you want, just return it within 15 days. So
Oh,
Don't you have a 10% rehandling fee?
no,
Restocking
you
fee,
just
they
have to
like to
check
call it.
around. Each
Restocking.
thing's different. Like Apple doesn't do it anymore. I think they just got rid of it. So
So the iPhone 5 is what's new. Correct?
Yeah, well, it's called the 4S.
Wait,
It's
but
pretty much the 5.
why is she still there?
Because they can't sell any iPhones. The computers have all crashed throughout the whole entire
So
United
why
States.
doesn't she go home?
No,
Because
because he's the man and he's got to run the show.
because it's if it's anything that like the past iPhone orders, what happens is that after if you don't get it within the first day or so, it will start going on back orders, and you won't get one for
But you
weeks.
have one in your hands.
That's not a new one right now, is it?
No, this is a new one. No, but she has her own. We don't
She's
have
getting one?
She has her own cell phone plan. I'm not going to just give her this like, hey, I spent money here, have this iPhone, and it comes with a 2-year
So
contract. I'll
she's
pay
getting
for it.
one, and you're not getting one.
So, Brian, what you're saying, hold on
She's
one
getting
second,
one,
Esther.
and I might get
Sorry.
one later.
Okay.
I'm going to step
I
in
might get
here.
one later.
Is that the new iPhone?
Yes,
That's
this is
the newest
this
of
is
the new model.
4S white. It has Siri. I don't know if you guys have heard of
I've heard of the
Siri.
voice.
Yeah.
That's the voice, right? The personal assistant.
Yeah, it looks exactly the same as an iPhone 4.
Here's the same.
yeah.
Here's
Does it
the-
feel the same?
Oh yeah, everything's the same. Actually, I think it weighs like just like a couple micro pounds more.
Oh,
than
then
the
forget it. I'll never use it.
I don't know. Here, see, Esther, see if you can tell.
Can I hold it?
Yeah, see if you can tell
Let
the
me
difference.
let me get my naked.
All right, so that's the 4S.
Oh, it looks nicer.
Feels good.
Don't drop it or steal
so
it.
shiny.
So is it
Switcheroo.
the iPhone 4 is the new one? It's supposed to be faster, better camera,
It's twice as fast.
twice as fast.
Yeah.
With what
It
application?
has a dual processor that they put a new processor in it. Actually, they put in the processor of the iPad too.
So what's twice as fast?
Twice as fast as if you take a number and times it by 2.
I understand. Oh, okay.
Just kidding.
No, are the is your
So you're going to see less. You're going to be able to open up applications faster. You're going to be able to, like, if you go to a website, sometimes and you scroll, it will show like
Lags
It's like
a
trying,
little bit.
it's trying
But
to catch
why
up.
aren't you getting it? You're waiting for the
Hold on,
5?
hold on. We'll talk about that later. I might get it later. I'm not rushing to get it. So, anyways, in the graphics, though, the graphics processor is now 12 times faster. So you're going to see better games. You're going to see games that are only available for.
I don't do games. Should I do games on iPad or
Sometimes
iPod?
they're
Or
relaxing.
whatever it's called.
If you travel a lot, that's when I mostly do it. Travel or making a poopies.
No.
Oh, Brian.
Don't go there.
And
Why would
sometimes when I lay in bed, I'll
So you read you're on your iPhone when you're using your restroom, your bathroom. I rarely do that because you're going from that to wiping and back to that. It's got to be some fecal matter left on the iPhone.
Well, I wear gloves when I make poopies, so I don't know if you guys
Do you really wear gloves? Be honest. We don't need to lie.
I put yellow kitchen gloves on.
Let me tell you, I'm not into lying. I'm
No.
into like stretching the truth.
Well, because I
You-
wash my hands and stuff.
I know, but so I'm sure other people do that.
Sometimes when I watch True Blood on my computer,
True Blood's too.
HBOGo.com, steal the password from my parents' account, I play my video games on my computer.
Oh, Esther, let me ask you a question. Your Twitter is funny. I like it. It's original. Do you get a lot of positive feedback on what you're tweeting? Do you have people who don't get it? Do they go, Esther, I want you to not be so down on yourself? What's your experience with Twitter?
I went through a period where I was tweeting like a lot of like depressing jokes that I thought were so funny and would love them, but I had so many people, Brian included, being like, "What's wrong with you? It's too depressing. It's not funny." And I got that. But right now, it's just like mostly positive with one like, "You're ugly." Or something.
I like the depressing stuff because I knew you. I knew you that you aren't that person necessarily. I mean, maybe it's in there deep down in there,
Yeah.
which we all have that, but you were bringing that, and it was funny.
Yeah, I thought so.
The depressing thing, it's funny. And I thought it was clever. And the fact that you have 9,000 followers, that's pretty good.
Thank you.
And do you have, are you constantly checking your Twitter or you don't care about it? What's your use of Twitter?
Okay, when I'm like have nothing to do, I'm like on there pretty frequently, but sometimes I get busy and I don't really check it that much. But I usually read every reply, obviously, and I try to check like retweets and stuff.
Oh, you check retweets. Okay,
Yeah.
that's a little weird.
I check how many.
No, it's not kidding. I don't check retweets.
You don't check how many times you've been retweeted?
No.
I do
check
that.
that. But
You
you
do?
can only check
Yeah.
it on the computer, so I check
Yeah.
it like sometimes. And I just tweet whatever, and I like reading. I love reading tweets. That's my favorite part.
Yeah, I like reading tweets. I follow a lot of people, but I have a lot of different interests from baseball, sports,
Yeah.
comedy, music, weather, entertainment, politics. No, I don't get political, but it's I like Twitter. Yeah, I like reading.
Yeah.
People think, "Oh, you're always on Twitter." Yeah, I'm reading.
Yeah, I love reading stuff. It's like the easiest entertainment. Like that's like instead of playing games on your phone, that's why you look at the tweets and stuff. It's really.
But they also go, if you're following so many people, how do you read their stuff? Well, then you got to get lists or whatever. But the deal is, I check it, I read it, I listen to a lot of radio, I watch some TV here and there. I think Twitter's a great thing. And, of course, my goal, if you ask me, honestly, I'd like to not be on Twitter. I would like to have some kind of TV show or podcast and maybe a Twitter site occasionally, like for talking, because it's not something that I'd like to focus on something that's a little more. I mean, you're not making money through Twitter. Not many people. Some are. I think it's a nice supplemental thing, but
Yeah.
I would think I haven't tweeted since this podcast. I mean, I'm not here tweeting. I can't. So I think if you're busy exercising, that's another thing. I haven't been exercising. I'm on these meds where, I mean, I can only walk. So I'm not at the gym. I'm walking.
I've been walking too. I like it.
Walking's great for you. Brian, do you walk?
Yeah, usually to like the bathroom and stuff like that.
Another bathroom joke. Interesting. But you live here in the valley. Do you ever take, like, I'm going to go out on a 20-minute walk around, go around the Costco?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, I don't do it a lot. I walk to Starbucks every day.
But maybe that's very close. Maybe, but Brian, maybe that walk will help you with your clearing your mind. You know, you have a lot of stuff on your mind. You have, obviously, you're in deep financial trouble. No, I'm kidding. But it's like, you've got the finances, you've got the podcast, you got your girlfriend at the mall. Why don't you, once a day, go on that 20, 30-minute walk, and then you'll feel better, and it's healthier. Nobody says, you can go on the internet, nobody on the internet says walking's bad for you. Nobody. It's all positive. It's
true.
all positive.
That's how my mom stays slim.
From walking?
Yeah, she walks every morning at 5.
My mom is slim too. I got my mom walking the dog, walking herself, doing yoga in the water, and doing chair yoga, and those are the 2 things she does. But that's what keeps her going. My mom's, in her early, what is she, 80 or 81? I forget. I think she's 81. I'll find out. But you keep moving, you don't sit, you keep going. And you see people walking. I'll be walking out on Sunset Boulevard, and you see like old people walking, and they're like lean. They got the skinny ankles, they're lean, they never like gave it up. And it's just going to help you. And it's like, we need people like Brian and Esther and myself to be around. Other people can go away, let them not walk. Let them be sucking off other people's energy. You're an important person, Brian, so you need to invest in yourself. And if it's 30 minutes of walking, which is going to clear your mind up for your bills and maybe all the Death Squad podcasts, you should do that. It's an investment. Esther, you're doing great. The Comedy Store thing, it's only going to make you stronger. Where in the world is somebody going to play you off stage unless you're at the Golden Globes or the Oscars, which could happen. I'm not saying that's not going to happen. It could happen. But chalk that up as it's making you tougher. And I saw you stick up for yourself, and it was real. It wasn't an act. It was real because I pulled in. You were already in full flame mode. And, Tony is an MC there, and he can be a little rough and a little tough. And I like to say to Tony, it's like, guys like that, you got to go out on the road. You got to go to other clubs. And he'll say, I am going to clubs. Very defensive. Very defensive. And I like to say that I have experience. I've worked on over 2,000 television shows. I played baseball at Arizona State. I've lived in New York, lived in Seattle, lived here, go to the desert. I got a lot of experience, and I feel like if I give my experience or some advice to a young comedian, if they're very defensive and almost, not only defensive, but offensive, it's I know what you're going through, Esther, and you don't want that extra stress. But I want you to channel that into your, a commercial. I could see you doing a commercial. I could see you doing another episode of TV, acting, all that stuff. And you want to be positive words, and I see that happening. Brian, do you feel like, I pumped you up a little bit? I gave you a little pep talk?
Yeah.
And it was organic.
It's all positive energy and organic.
Because you've helped me. You've helped me. I help you. We help Esther. Esther goes back. It's just energy. It's not perfect. I do read The Secret. I'm going to randomly pick a chapter, a paragraph out of The Secret. Okay, this is from page 31. No one can tell you whether you are feeling good or bad because you are the only one who knows how you are feeling at any time. If you're not sure how you're feeling, just ask yourself, how am I feeling? You can stop and ask this question often during the day. And as you do, you will become more aware of how you are feeling. And that is not necessarily a informative paragraph.
I love that, though. I thought that was great.
It was?
Yeah.
Like nobody can tell you how you're feeling?
Yeah, I think that's great.
Well, that's what I'm going through. I get so many people, oh, Brody, you okay? We're here for you. All right. Yeah, if you need anything, I'm fine. Trust me. I played baseball. I was on the mound going 9 innings. I had it. And then these guys, the fans, they started running on the field like a Stanford Cal football game, running on the field like some crazy fan, and it messed up my complete game. So I have to take what happened to me with the police, with a hospital, losing friends. I notice my phone hasn't rung once. I've been blacklisted from friendships.
Do you want to see what Siri has to say about you, Brody?
Yeah.
Siri is this new thing on the iPhone 4 where it's pretty much the beginning of having a robot that's going to live with us and take care of us, like artificial intelligence. So what you do on the new iPhone, you hold down this middle button on the iPhone 4S, and you can ask it questions. Who is Brody Stevens?
I don't know that.
Oh,
I'd like to search the
Oh, that's not cool.
All right.
Ask her who Stephen Brody Stevens
Say
is.
little Esther.
Oh, little Esther.
Who is little Esther?
I can't answer that.
Okay, we're.
Search the web for it if you like.
No, thank you.
Is that what you're allowed to ask it to search the web?
Yeah, and what it does, it will pull up things. Now, I could also ask things like, what's the meaning of life?
Try and be nice to people. Avoid eating fat. Read a good book every now and then. Get some walking in. And try to live together in peace and harmony
Oh
with
my
people
God.
of all creeds and nations.
Oh my God.
Get some walking in.
To get
Oh
some
my
walking,
God.
read a book once in a while.
Be nice to people.
And how? See, that
Don't eat fat.
did that just give you chills?
Yes.
Look at that. His hair, Redban's hair is standing straight up like static.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's not crazy. That's positive. I talked about a book. I talked about you walking. I talked about saying nice things, and that Apple computer thing agreed with me. The meaning of life. I didn't think what I was saying was the meaning of life. I'm saying what works for me. Like, I'm so in tune to what I'm doing. Yeah, one word I hear from somebody, I can pick up like, that's negative energy. And, I'm not saying I'm Mr. Positive all the time. This has been work. I kind of have always been a nice guy, and I think when I was younger, kids would pick on me. They weren't used to like this, somebody being nice, being a nice person. They were like, what are you, gay? Are you gay? I go, no, I'm just a nice guy. You're good at football. I like watching, and they didn't get that. So I got picked on. And as I've gotten older, a lot of people pick on you because they like you, or it's, but I felt back then when I was getting picked on, it's like I was being bullied, I don't know if you're going through the same thing, but I was going through that, and it was traumatic for me. These kids made fun of how I walked. Are you gay? Then you got a big nose and no girlfriend. And then and this went all the way through high school. Then I came back in college. And kind of when I started doing comedy, sticking up for myself, I'd like to say, in 1993, 94, it's like that's kind of when that all stuff went away because I own me. And I guarantee you, anybody who picked on me or hurt my feelings is not contributing to this world and this society like I am, because that's just a fact.
Yeah.
I remember who were mean to me. I remember the people who picked on me, and I can decipher where it was coming from. Is it coming from picking on you because we like you, or picking on you because we don't like you? And I think more of it is because we don't like you. See, I grew up in the Valley, blue collar. And am I Jewish? Yes. Both my parents Jewish? Yes. But was I in Jewish school, Hebrew stuff? No. So I'm around people who weren't necessarily around a lot of Jewish people. And I'm not saying Jews are any different from anybody else, but every culture, every religion, every background, there are differences. And I felt maybe, looking back on it now, if I was in a Jewish community, say Encino, or I was bar mitzvahed, and I had that path, I probably would have been happier and maybe a little more stable now, my opinion. But the comedy may not have been what it is. Comedy comes from pain.
Yes.
I'm not saying every comedy, but a lot of it comes from pain, comes from being picked on. And when I hosted TMZ, and when I came back from Montreal, I just felt like it was off. I won. It was a victory. It was a victory for me, not my only victory, but it was a big victory. And that's where I was coming from. I know me. I know who picked on me in 3rd grade. I know who picked on me in 1st grade. I know who touched me in 6th grade. I know who did everything to me. So for me, and I know they're seeing me. They're seeing me. Wow, I remember that guy. Oh, Brody. Oh, he's in a movie. Oh, Brody, he's got a TV show. And I'm not saying that drives me, but I did get picked on a lot. And I feel that, and that's, I can't go back in time, you know. My parents my mom, she gave me a Pinto. I had to drive a Pinto to high school. That's embarrassing.
I didn't get a car.
I know that's the way to look at it, but also, but how would you like to drive I wasn't emotionally, or I was not emotionally stable enough to drive a Pinto, to drive that
Right.
Pinto, park it on the lot. It's like, Brody, you're Jewish, you say you have money, but you're driving a Pinto? What a, you know, and it was like, it hurt my self-esteem.
I got picked on in high school, and in high school I got picked on by women, like the older girls picked on me.
Why?
I don't know. My freshman year, I got made fun of for being a lesbian.
But
even though I
were you a
wasn't.
lesbian?
No, I was not.
Siri, are you gay?
I'm sorry, Brian. I'm afraid I can't answer that.
That's a personal question.
yeah,
That's rude.
That's
rude.
How did it know my name?
Yeah, how did it know your name? Brian, how did it know your name?
I have no idea.
You ready?
Are you serious? You did not do
It
anything?
must. Well, it's not even. I haven't even like activated with my anything, so I don't know how it.
So, Brian, let me ask you a question. Were you
just turned it
bullied?
on.
Were you bullied? Were you picked on a lot in Ohio or out here?
Yeah, well, younger, yes. Like I wasn't picked on like in high school or in
See, I
middle
was.
school.
I
It was
was
like elementary
bullied-
school mostly.
I was
Okay.
mostly like confident and cool at school, but then I was bullied by like relatives, not my sister or my parents, but like outside, like cousins and stuff.
Why? What would they bully you about?
Well, because all my family was Christian, and I was the only one that was Jewish because my mom married a Jewish man.
Uh-huh.
And so, like, they sort of were like, well, then you can't really be related to us. And, like, they would all go.
And you're blood related, though.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah, I was, like,
And that's a
very
negative
much-
word. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was isolated, and, like, I think that's kind of what made me, like, a little weird.
But you know what? No. But take that as a positive.
Yeah,
That's
I
why your
do.
Twitters are funny. That's why
Thank
you're
you.
doing the show. You know, I picked up on that. I picked up on the Christian abuse, and I'm not into this whole religion stuff. I feel like if you were to ask me, Brody, what are you? Number one, I'm American. Number two, I'm a human being. Number three, I'm Jewish. There it is. It's not like Jew in your face. But I'll tell you what, if I did get that bar mitzvah and I did stay true to the tribe, I probably would be more stable. I would probably have a wife and a child and a nice job and some entertainment
Wait, you
industry.
didn't have a bar mitzvah?
No.
I didn't have a bat mitzvah either.
Okay, so that's where, you know, there's a reason why I didn't ask you. When have I ever asked you if you had a bat mitzvah? I never did.
No.
So, you know,
Siri, are you Jewish?
I don't see Darius Redban in your contacts.
oh, that.
Siri, are you Jewish?
You're crossing a line.
Sorry, I don't understand.
See?
Oh, whatever.
Why would it matter if she was?
I just wondered.
You just wondered.
You
He
know.
picked up on the word Jewish. No, I feel like that. Yeah, I'm enjoying, if you want to ask me right now, yeah, I'm enjoying the podcasting. I'm enjoying the positive energy coming my way. And I want to do everything with that energy to get some stability, help out others. It's fun to help out others. It is about relationships. If you talk to the people, these big agents at these agencies, it's all about helping people. You know, when I worked on the movie The Hangover, Hangover 2, Due Date, things of that nature, Todd Phillips and his producers, they would always have a few guys working on the film that were from like not orphans, but from like broken homes or programs. They're always good about giving back and giving these people the opportunity, like inner city kids, to work on a big film, to go to the premiere, to be a part of it. And same thing with Robert Downey Jr. I don't know if I mentioned it before, but like he has 3 or 4 guys around him that he met in prison or in jail or in rehab. He keeps these guys around him. So it's about relationships. It's about giving people a chance. That's what I feel good about, knowing people, like to go to a show, a comedy show, and know 10 comedians and we have some history together. It's about that, or those special moments where you can count on them. I always say Hollywood is about relationships. That's what makes you feel good. Do I have a girlfriend? No, because I have my own issues right now. I'm putting all my energy into this podcast, Twittering, stand up, walking, being a good son to my mother, because I'm selfish. I feel like I could be a better nephew. I could be a better cousin. I feel like I'm selfish at times. Like, I'm only calling or only checking in when I need you. So I need to do a better job with my sister, my cousins and uncles, and aunts up in Seattle. And I don't want to do it like when I'm down on my luck. Because I'm a little down, to be honest with you. I'm physically down due to these meds. I'm not rolling in the cash. I don't know where it's going to come from. I can only at this point trust my abilities and know that I have 60 minutes worth of tweets and I can go out on the road and do comedy. I own me. So at the end of the day, yeah, maybe I don't get booked on a sitcom or a commercial or anything else or TMZ ever again. I can always go on the road, sell T-shirts. But that's...
Did you hear your name on TMZ the other day?
Was it?
Yeah, maybe like 2 days ago. Somebody was getting in an argument with the cameraman. I think this is like what I'm trying to remember. And somebody was just like going off on TMZ, like how they were like, who the fuck are these comics? Or fudge are these comics that you have on TMZ?
Right.
Like, who's Brody Stevens and stuff like that? And started like.
Who said that? One of the people in there.
I don't know. I would have to. Somebody told me about it. Like,
I heard something about that. But, TMZ, for me, it was right up my alley. I enjoyed it. Harvey is from the Valley like myself, Jewish, confused, things of that nature. And I never knew that. I was just being myself. Hangover 2 premiere, I'm walking to the party, and the guy goes, hey, Brody, I'm from TMZ. Can we get a word with you? Yeah, sure. Hey, Brody from TMZ, Brody from the Valley, boom, boom. They put me on. They put me on 4 straight weeks. Boom, boom, boom. Then I hosted it, and I enjoyed it. It was like right up my alley. Boom, boom, boom. And that was kind of taken away from me. That's something that bothers me a little bit, that they at TMZ are like scared of me. They hired extra security, I think, for after all this went down. Like,
Really?
I'm going to come in there and cause problems.
Really?
Yes, I think so. Rumor on the street. But I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy. I'm a good person. Esther wouldn't be here if I had bad energy. You wouldn't let me do your show. I know you have a lot of people asking to do your shows. You let me do it. You let me be on other shows. You know that I'm a good guy. So sometimes and it's all learning. You can't come in, got no pun, I don't want to say guns, but high energy, crazy. Come in, talk, and then when you guys get to know me, if I do get mad about something, you'll be with me because we know Brody. Something really upset him. So I am going through issues. I'm moving into a new apartment. It's stressful. I'm breaking out and itching. Anybody here itch after they shower?
No, that's dry skin now.
My skin's
So
dry.
you just need to get a big bottle of Jergens and just,
I would get the Cetaphil body lotion because that's what my mom's dermatologist recommends. It's very low chemical. There's no additives.
What will it do for me? Right when I get out of the shower, put it on?
Just lotion up. It's going to stop the itching. It's going to like calm your skin and it won't dry you out.
I need that.
And it'll keep you looking younger.
That's true.
Like when you get older, you start having that dry, wrinkled skin. That's from like no lotion. Or you see those people that over tan too much, and it looks like a leather wallet.
But I'm big into supplements. I'm big into MSM. I'm big into
MSNBC.
No, MSM, sulfur and things of that nature. I do a lot of nature stuff, and
Have you ever taken a sulfur bath?
No, I've heard of them. They're pretty good for you.
They have them in San Simeon. I want to go.
That's up north.
Yeah, I went once in high school.
So you're saying lotion? When do I do that? When I'm dry
After
or
the
like?
shower.
But
Yeah,
like,
right when you dry off.
While you're drying off.
and you're telling me that will stop the itching?
Yeah.
I think so.
Do I
don't know
put it on
what
my
your-
chest
You
too?
put it everywhere.
Everywhere, yeah. I'm at
Even
high
down there?
risk for.
I wouldn't do it down below.
You're at high
the
risk for
waist.
what? Skin
for-
cancer?
No, well, that too.
You have
but,
fair skin, very fair skin.
but for like getting my skin all dried out because I take only baths, so that's really that's like my one bad behavior.
Wait, you only take baths? You don't shower?
Yeah.
Yes, you don't shower.
Yes, I don't shower.
Can we ask why?
It's one of her biggest flaws.
I don't know. I've always been into taking baths only.
Disgusting.
But do you have something against showers? Was there something that frightens you, about a
No,
shower?
I don't know what
She
it
wants
is.
control of water.
I used to take baths with my dad when I was little.
Okay, that's weird. Can I, I'd just like to get his address and do some background check
Yeah.
on him.
Would you?
You took a bath with your dad?
No,
not
one
like
does that.
one. Everyone does that.
No.
How do you
Yes, they
remember
do.
that? How do you remember you remember it as a 1-year-old?
A little. My mom
Would-
told
would he-
me. I remember being breastfed.
Oh my. Ooh. You remember that? You remember like
she
looking?
breastfed late. She was
3.5.
You remember actually
Yeah, I do.
suckling on your mother's breast. You suckling on your mother's breast. You actually have a physical and a visual memory of
It's
that.
a little weird, but I do, and I try not to think
I
about
wasn't
it.
breastfed. Brian's going to speak.
Siri, when should you stop breastfeeding?
Brian, I don't understand.
Oh.
Siri, when should you stop breastfeeding?
Oh, wow.
Searching the web for Siri, when should you stop breastfeeding?
Oh, wow.
All right, so
We get it.
says-
It's
yeah.
probably 2 or 3. All right, so you remember that. And you remember the baths. Your father would straddle you? How would that be in the bathtub?
No, it was just baths. I don't know. My mom was there too.
I mean, I showered with my dad when I was probably up till like 8. Is that weird? But my dad never. I want to go on record. My late father never touched me. Never made me
Same
feel
here.
uncomfortable. Never did anything like that.
We
My
just
dad.
spooned, me and my dad, till about 14.
There you go. Harry
Never
Morris
anything.
Brody never did anything to me sexually or emotionally.
Morris is my dad's name.
See, there's another connection. Let's go ahead and open up the book, The Secret. This is not the actual secret book, but this is kind of like a satellite edition. I picked this up in Bangkok, actually, after shooting Hangover 2. I'm going to go ahead and pick a page. Okay. The Secret to the World by Lisa Nichols. People have a tendency to look at things they want and say, yes, I like that, I want that. However, they look at the things that they don't want and they give them just as much energy, if not more, with the idea that they can stamp it out, they can eliminate it, obliterate it. In our society, we've become content with fighting against things, fighting against cancer, fighting against poverty, fighting against war, fighting against drugs, fighting against terrorism, fighting against violence. We tend to fight everything we don't want, which actually creates more of the fight, or a fight. So take your energy and put it towards what you're good at. Now, stand-up comedy-wise, a little differently. You might want to take your energy and put it towards things you're not that good at. Maybe you need to become a better joke writer. Maybe you need to work on your comedy posture. Maybe you need to, get whatever. I think with like baseball or comedy or, work, it's okay to focus a little bit on what you're not. You can get better, but in your back pocket, you're great in the moment. You've got your persona. You've got your confidence. So I think comedy. And so many people are doing comedy. I go to the Comedy Store now. There is like 100 comedians hanging out there, number one. I only know maybe 20 of them. Mm-hmm. And these other comedians, they come up to you. I don't know you. And they stick their hand out to shake. Let me tell you something. I initiate the shake, not you. Yes, you know me. I don't know you. I don't know your comedy. We are human. But at the Comedy Store, I kind of do. Even though I'm a positive guy, it is, I'm very protective of my comedy. I'm not going to share my comedy or my energy, my gift, if you want to call it that, with just anybody in a closed circle.
What about bowing? What if somebody comes up to you and just bows to you?
Like an Asian guy?
Yeah.
I would be into that.
Yeah, I'm just not into shake, put the hand out.
It's a little.
Like
much.
people do that, I usually just turn it into a knuckle, pound it.
Right. It's like I know that I don't keep my hands clean all the time, so you probably don't. Let's just fist pound. That's the way to go.
Are you a
these days.
germ freak?
No, but I see myself getting a little more germ aware just based on people coming up to me, and I sometimes their hands are sweaty or they and they're comedians. They're
Ever thought to maybe one up them and just wipe gross stuff on your hands so that
No.
they don't want to shake?
No,
your
I wouldn't
hand?
do that. Would I do that, Brian? Would I really do that?
Yeah,
No,
but then
I wouldn't.
no one wants to shake your hand. It kind of.
I know, but these guys, I'm being serious here with the handshaking. These comedians,
they're dirty people.
it's like when I did comedy at the Comedy Store originally, I never went up to Andrew Dice Clay. I never went up to Sherry Shepard. I let them from The View. I don't even know what she used to perform there.
Yeah, I've seen her in there.
I wouldn't go up. You wait for them to come to you. These comedians these days, it's like they're hanging out at the Comedy Store, and it's like they're best friends of mine, talking up a storm, let's hang out. I go, I've never seen you do comedy. I'm very protective of who I'm hanging out with in terms of my comedy. You don't want that rubbing off on you.
Right.
And some people tell you, I'm not a comedy snob. I'm just protective of what I got. But these guys, it's like, My advice to comedians is stay out of LA. Don't come here. This is your final destination. So let's say you're from Chicago. You go to New York. You get a job writing for Playboy or whatever. Then you come to LA. I grew up here in LA. I went to Seattle. I left LA. Grew up, born and bred. Went to college in Arizona, get a feel for that. Came back here, and I just knew right away, my instincts told me there's a lot of desperation in this town. And that's back in 1993. And I said, I got to get out of here. And another agent told me, he said, Brody, you want to do comedy? Get out of LA. And I went up to Seattle. It was either Phoenix or Seattle. Seattle, better vibe for comedy. Phoenix is more of like, they just want to laugh. Seattle, we'll support you. We'll go down deep into the dark layers because we don't like the rain, and we are going to support your comedy, an open mic. Phoenix, it's all about golf. It's all about drinking and all that stuff. And it's very, in my eyes, Phoenix never inspired me to do any kind of comedy. And it still doesn't. I go back there, and I'm not writing stuff. I'm enjoying the weather, thinking about baseball, but not focusing on stand-up. It's just not a creative spot. So I went to Seattle. That gave me creativity. Then I went to New York, and that took it to another level. New York, very creative, the energy of the city, and I'm sure it's still there. Then after 6 years, 3 in Seattle, 3 in New York, I came back to L.A. You know, a lot of comedians are going straight. I talked to them. Where you come from? I moved here from, they moved like right out of, not even college, like high school. Some out of college, it's like, mistake. You got to read that energy. And I'm not saying I'm anybody famous, but I've done a lot of diverse shows. And I think my advice, what do you think about that, Esther? Is my device good? My advice device?
I think it's pretty good advice. I sometimes feel that I came out here a little prematurely because I only did stand-up for about 6 months before I moved out. But I also, you know, didn't necessarily move here for stand-up as much as I ended up.
When you worked at Playboy, did you have, was it a little bit of a slimy company to work for, or was it a pretty just...
Playboy's pretty classy.
Pretty classy.
It was
I mean, did you have to climb the corporate ladder by kissing people on the lips and
it
stuff?
was amazing. It was cool. I had a really cool guy that was like managing my program, and he was like a really fun party dude, and it was cool. It was a great experience.
Fun party dude. So he's like into cocaine?
No, I don't know if he was.
Did you ever
I
see
had
his
a crush
chest?
on him, but I was like really weird.
Let me ask a question. First of all, I've never done cocaine.
Me either. I've never done anything.
Because it would cost you guys a lot more than the normal person. That's why.
I would never do. I'm just not into that. I would like to eventually have a girl, a partner with me, probably in the next couple years. I'm not ready for it now, but that bums me out a little bit. I wish it was more. I didn't go to prom. I didn't go to prom.
You didn't?
No, I had no confidence. What do we do? Pick you up in my Pinto?
You know, my girlfriend's brother didn't have a prom date, so she went with him. And what's funny is, like,
Did he hook up?
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, but she was like, older, and she's like, pretty hot.
Right.
So this guy that he brought his, like, a lot of people were like, who's that? Like, what the heck?
Made him the big guy on campus.
Yeah.
Well, I just, I would like to. I've had girlfriends in the past, but I'm telling you right now, I don't think I'm not a catch right now. I'm not in the position to be with you. I got too much on my mind, too much stuff going on. I would like to be able to do it. I just don't think I'm ready to do it. But, that bothers me, and I have things I think about, like I hate that frickin' scar on my face. I got a scar on my face.
I never see it.
I know, but you'll see it now, and that bothers me. I need to get involved in some talk therapy. I am on meds.
You can hangover glasses, the same kind that they used in a Hangover?
No, I got these.
I like those a lot.
You like these? I got these in Montreal at the Montreal Comedy Festival. That's where everything went down because I got sick, and that's where I got off Lexapro. Right. If you're taking a medication out there, an antidepressant, SSRI or whatever they're called, don't stop taking it cold turkey.
Never.
If you do, you're going to have some great shows. You'll host TMZ, but you'll be taken down because Hollywood's a tough town, man. I think it's not that people were against me, but I'm working through. This is kind of a talk therapy for me. So I think I'm good for today. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, we had our moments, right? What do you think about today's podcast, Brian?
I liked it. It was very cool, and that whole thing about talking about walking and reading books and stuff,
Yeah.
and then having this shit shucks do it. It's
Full circle.
that was kind of creepy.
Well, you can say a better word than shucks. Having this thing, just regular language, Brian. Regular language.
I'm I cuss, I guess. And
I know you do, but my feeling is I don't cuss because you can't cuss on Conan, you can't cuss on Leno. It's like you don't need it. Funny's funny without the curse words.
Or without being mean. Some people, and I'm not saying you, Brian, at all. I'm saying just a shout out to people who think that the only way to be funny is to be mean and to pick on people. You're wrong.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another thing. And just because you're a comedian doesn't mean that you're insensitive to insults. I don't like it when people say, "Oh, you're a comedian, you should be able to take it." No.
Yeah, oh my God.
I didn't choose to do comedy. Comedy selected me, all right? They wanted me to do it. I am a sensitive guy, and it does bother me when you attack me on Twitter when it's happened. And I've never, ever, ever have put out one bit of negative initiated energy towards somebody. I completely do not understand that mindset of hearing somebody on a podcast, watching them on a video podcast, or seeing them on a TV show, and then slamming them on Twitter to them. I just don't. I mean, that's one reason why I say, ideally.
Sorry, I'm
Oh my God, you're going. What I'm saying is, like, why I'd like to get out of the Twitter game, because if you become more high profile doing stuff, you are going to get that. There are people who aren't going to like you.
Kim Kardashian gets negative tweets all the time.
But, well, first of all, she's laughing all the way to the bank.
Yes.
I don't know if she checks her @ replies.
Right.
She probably does. She probably just tweets. So I'd like to be at that level of, like, okay, I tweet out fun stuff. I don't once in a while look at @ replies, but she's laughing all the way to the bank. That kind of thing. Not laughing to the bank. I'm, crying to the ATM machine.
Me too.
But be nice out there. Everyone, you go on Twitter, it's like everybody rips. It's either rip, 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 or make fun of themselves. Nobody's just like funny in the moment. You know what's funny in the moment? Me. All things Brody. Funny in the moment. I've done it. I've had the opportunities. I'm giving it to you at Twitter. I can rant. I can give you live. I can give you taped. A lot of great things happening. November, I will be in Austin, Texas. February, I will be in Vancouver. And who knows where in between. Esther, any things coming up you like to talk about?
I don't know. I think I'm going to be on the Celebrity Rehab special with Andy Dick.
Are you serious? Oh, he shot the thing. Okay.
Yes.
I should be on that.
I know.
Let's do one more passage from The Secret, and we'll wrap it
Okay.
up.
And I want to say this. The night after the bullying happened, so that happened, then on the following night, Andy Dick came in and was shooting some stuff, and he watched my set, and then he came up on stage after me and told me that he thought I was funny, and then...
And then he attacked a guy in the men's room.
Yeah.
Did he really?
Well, he's a loose
I thought he
cannon.
was
And then he
sober
threw his
last-
feces.
I thought he was sober.
It's in and out. It's in and out sobriety.
Well,
But
I
he's
had a-
funny. Andy Dick's funny, and there's an example of a guy who gets chance after chance. But you know what? He was already in. He was already on the Ben Stiller show. He was already on these movies. He already has a grown
News radio.
man as a child. Okay.
Oh, Lucas.
This is from Bob Doyle, The Secret Made Secret. Most of us attract by default. We just think that we don't have any control over it. Our thoughts and feelings are on autopilot, and so everything is brought to us by default. Didn't I say auto pay earlier? And this is autopilot. No one would ever deliberately attract anything unwanted. Without the knowledge of the secret, it is easy to see how some unwanted things may have occurred in your life or other people's lives. It simply came from a lack of awareness of the great creative power of our thoughts. That's what happened with me. I had that freak out. I put out that energy. They were confused, and we had a moment like that. So now, if this is your first time to hear this, it may feel like, oh, I have to monitor my thoughts. This is going to be a lot of work. It will seem like work at first, but that's where the fun begins. The fun is that there are many shortcuts to the secret. I mean, I'm reading The Secret here. And you get to choose the shortcuts that work best for you. Read on, and you'll see how. So I think today, just here today on this podcast, there are several moments of connections. Like, hey, Brody, you put that out there. Esther, you put it out there. Brian, you put it out there. And there is some kind of weird connection. There is energy in the universe. Tell me how you can, see a TV monitor where they're getting a signal. We can't see these signals that are going through the air, meaning for televisions and radio transmissions. So don't tell me, you say, well, this secret's all BS. Okay, then explain the TV transmissions. Explain the radio transmissions. Explain
The secret's all about positive energy. And
Yes.
anytime you're positive, positive energy will come back.
Does it really?
Yeah.
Believe in what you want, and
In
you
the
will
long
get it.
run, it will.
In the long run.
It's true. The other, like 2 weeks before I did the New Girl thing, I was like, oh my god, I really wish I could be Tracy Flick, which is this character from Election. And then the breakdown for the audition was Tracy Flick type, and then I got it.
Oh my God.
I know. That was unreal.
Siri, do you smoke marijuana? I don't think she wants to answer that.
Brian, let me ask a
Yeah,
question.
you're being.
Yeah, I can't do pot on these meds.
Well, no.
And I've never.
You want me to
done
get
pot.
paranoid? If you mention it, it makes me paranoid. Let me go to
Siri,
chapter.
do you smoke marijuana?
Stop it.
She doesn't.
Yeah, no, she doesn't.
How does a voice in a iPad pod smoke marijuana?
I tried it once at the homecoming game, freshman year of high school.
Siri, do you smoke marijuana?
Third time the charm.
I was doing it wrong.
All right. Well, listen.
Okay.
Let's
Settle.
settle down. Don't worry about the marijuana, Brian. So I want to say, I think today was a good show. I feel good about it. Brian, I'm going to let you wrap it up.
I
Esther,
didn't find any.
she didn't find anything. Esther, good podcast for you.
Yes, feel good, feel positive.
Exactly.
For the weekend.
And then, maybe we'll get ripped, maybe we won't. Doesn't matter. I feel pretty good. It's therapy. Therapy for me, therapy for you, therapy for Brian, and hopefully we'll see you next week. This is the Brode and Esther podcast on the Death Squad Network. We'll go ahead with that. The Death Squad, it could be a negative meaning, but maybe it's not. We're going to push positive. iPhone 4 in town. Brian, a great job as always.
Just as I thought, the fools kept stepping. I jumped in the flow, hit the juice in my ride. I got front and back, side to side. Then I let the Alpine play. I was bumping new shit by NWA. It was gangster at the top of the list. Then I played my own shit, it went something like this.
Brian, I don't understand. Siri, say goodbye for me.